Alright, so I want to revisit the human figure. Anyway, that's my relaxant, obviously. And I thought of, a much easier way, and this is easier for me. It works for me. Now, you might need to start with my older videos, where I draw the human figure in relation to heads, like 7 heads, 8 heads. And it might be good just to start there to kind of get a feel for the figure, and I go through a lot of different, shapes of the human body. But I'm going to start all over again. So you don't have to look at those videos. This is a whole new system, a whole new method, and I think it's a much easier, faster method. So first thing you need to do is memorize these 2 shapes, and it's really simple actually, and not these 2 shapes really. I'll show you in just a second. But first, I just want to show you this here is a perfect human body, modeled in a 3D form, and you can also look at go online and you can see models. And you can see the the human figure, and this obviously isn't the whole body, but you can get different shapes and relations and of women and so forth, and when bodies leaning forward, how it changes for foreshortening, and collarbones, how they look in different areas. The collarbone comes behind the shoulder there, because you can't see it here or here, because it comes behind and connects to the back more. Anyway, so. Not every woman has a perfect body, so some of them have slightly longer legs, and so they won't be perfectly half and half. But what you'll notice with the perfect human body is it is perfectly in half. And I can probably duplicate this shape to make this easier to do. I don't know if this will work. I can't remember if it copies. No, I'll have to do it this way. Okay. And also I'm going to copy this shape here, because I want to show that the perfect human body is pretty much identical. That is, this middle point, which is directly at the bottom, I guess I'll just call it crotch. Can't think of a better word. Directly here at the bottom, which also just happens to be the widest part of the hips, depending on the angle of the leg and everything, but this will be the widest part of the hips right here, of the leg where it comes out. It doesn't come out. Some people draw where it comes out wide up here, but it actually doesn't. It comes out wide down here, and sometimes even a little bit below. Often the case, it's like, see the leg, it's actually a little bit below the crotch, the widest part of the leg that comes out, and then it tapers in. So that's something to memorize. The least amount of information to memorize is the best, right? It's the easiest. So I've developed a method that allows you to memorize the least. But I wanted to show this relation between shapes here. If you memorize that little relation between shapes, it makes drawing the human figure so much easier. So just remember the relationship between the measurements of the body there. I guess it did duplicate those times. Okay. Make a new layer. Okay, so the first thing then we need you can memorize is drawing, and actually I'll go ahead and open up a new. I'll go ahead and do this fairly from my mind here. Not looking at anything, so that way you can see that we're doing it from our mind right now. And it really doesn't matter how long you make this rectangle, as long as you keep the relationships in mind, the length relationships in mind, you're going to be fine. So you know that the first thing is you're going to have the rectangle. Now I'm going to purposely make this rectangle extra long. Now obviously this is a lot longer than what we saw before, and this will give me this kind of supermodel exaggerated look. Now I'm going to cut it in half with an X, so that way I know the middle point. The easiest way to do that is just draw 2 straight lines in half, and that's the middle. And then a little bit below the middle is where the belly buttons meet. So just remember that. So far all you have to memorize is rectangle, X, a little bit below, belly button. Keep doing that until you memorize it. And that's not that hard. It should only take you a few times to memorize that. Then you have the halfway point from here to here, and it's going to be a little bit less than half. So just imagine like about a neck length missing. And take that length there and duplicate it up, and then take this full length here and duplicate it down. So we're just going to duplicate, we're going to imagine mirroring that image. And this isn't going to be perfect. And then, halfway point, and then a little bit less than half, and mirror that like that. So I did exactly what I did up there, I did down here. And actually, that should be a little bit longer like that anyway. I'm going to erase some of this where it doesn't get in my way. So I've mirrored that. And that's really all you have to memorize to have the length of the human body. So it's really simple. You can memorize that within no time. If you just follow along and do this a few times, you'll probably have this memorized in a couple minutes. And then try it again the next day by not looking at anything. Just try to memorize this, and then make sure you have it right. Maybe write down some notes, and then make sure you have it right, and keep doing it until you have it right. That is, you know where the belly button goes, everything I just said. So let's do it again really fast, because you will learn by repetition. So first we draw, and actually what I'll do is let's go ahead and just open a new document again. And actual pixels, I'm going to make sure I put a layer on top of this time. Okay, so do it again. I'm going to do again the supermodel. So I'm going to show you, as long as you have the relations right between the shapes, it really won't matter that I'm going to have about that same length. Up here, cut the neck, that gets me in my head. My shoulder's obviously going to go there. My hips are going to be about the same length, maybe a little bit wider. This is the crotch, so this little V shape comes up. I want to memorize that. That's simple, so I added one little thing there extra you can memorize this time around. Kind of duplicate that same shape up there, and then the halfway, a little bit more than halfway, that same thing with the head, and then the same thing with the neck. See, that's the same thing, but we do it here. That's your feet. This is your ankles, and then from here to here, halfway between there, that pretty much gives you your knees. And so you can have your hips come out, and they're going to come to your knees. So I'm going to inside the shape here, I'm going to draw this shape, and then I'm going to draw this kind of like square, and then I'm going to repeat that shape, and I'm going to have my triangle for my feet. Now I'm not being serious here yet. I'm just showing you the shapes that you want to memorize, and that's going to go up to the belly button. Okay, so far so good. We can memorize that. That's simple. And like I said, you can tell what we have here is like this long supermodel. All right, start over. Let's do it one more time. This time we'll go with the perfect human body, which is a little bit, not quite a square, but a rectangle, but not quite a square. So we'll make the rectangle okay. It's okay. I'm running out of time. Damn it. Oh well, I'm doing a series anyway, so that's fine. So we're going to draw our rectangle, and this time we're going to make it more, not as tall. Maybe we'll make it a little bit less tall than that. Maybe right about there. Now remember, then all we have to do is duplicate that rectangle down here. I can't see my thing. Okay, so I'm just eyeballing it for now. You can measure it too. Forget if you want it perfect. Then remember, we're going to cut this in half and kind of like have that neck length, which is about like that. I just want to kind of eyeball it, and that's where your belly button goes. And then that length here, you're going to duplicate it up here. Then have your neck, and then your head. So the head's actually quite small. It looks really small when you're doing this, but because once you add the hair and everything to it, then it starts looking bigger. You can draw your circles for shoulders again. You know that your hips are going to be here. And remember, you have the crotch here, and so we can draw the lines up like that. Again, just kind of eyeball the halfway point, a little less than half. Duplicate that. Bam. Cut it off about there. Make a little triangle. That's your feet. Okay, so go into part 2.